Please turn off your cell phones, everybody, and please no recording of the candidates. Please remain quiet throughout the forum. No clapping, cheering, or calling out, with the exception that after the closing statements, I'll ask everyone to give them a round of applause. No campaign literature or signs are allowed inside this room. So thanks, everybody. That's the housekeeping. We'll start with the candidates for Sedro-Woolley Hospital District number 304. Ellen DeJong, Jermaine Cornegay, and Robert Stanley. Opening statements, you have 1.5 minutes for your opening statement, beginning with Ellen DeJong.
Good evening, and thanks to the League of Women Voters for your organizing and hard work and getting us all here tonight. And thanks to everybody in the audience for coming out, hopefully to learn more about us and make an informed vote, which is important. My name is Ellen DeJong. I'm a board-certified family practice doc with 37 years of direct patient care experience. I worked in rural, suburban, and underserved communities for my entire career. I practiced family medicine. I was your PCP. I practiced urgent care in the last 7 years. I was a hospice doctor for 4 years and went out to enroll people into hospice, and I practiced community health in Washington, for a short time in Colorado, and on medical missions to Africa and South America. My husband Carl and I live off a township on Fidalgo. We bought a beautiful house and intend to retire there. I'm stepping forward to serve you in a new way. Our health district provides many critical services besides the hospital, from nutrition support for mothers and children to behavioral health support, education, and hospice services. I understand how these vital services can be lost with funding. As a commissioner, I bring clinical experience, fiscal responsibility, and community compassion.
Thank you. Jermaine Cornegay, you're next.
Thanks for having us. Most people are surprised to learn that Hospital District 304 doesn't run hospital medical care. That's managed by Peace Health. What commissioners oversee, what this position is entirely about, is human services. 50 community programs, like bereavement care for teens, that's the roots, like family service, Skagit Trail Builders, Trek for Treasure, and youth outreach programs. I've been involved with many of those. I encourage every voter to visit unitedgeneral.org or peacehealth.org to see the difference for yourself. And once you do, you'll understand why I'm the right fit for this role. I hold a degree in human services from Western Washington University, and I've spent over 30 years serving this community, this local community, as a business owner, as a 2-term city council member, and a public utility commissioner, and dedicated local volunteer. I want to continue serving you on the hospital board, working with fellow commissioners to increase community engagement and help people navigate both systems, medical and human services, so their families can easily access care and support they need to thrive. Thank you so much.
Robert Stanley, your turn.
Hello, my name is Robert Stanley. Can you all hear me?
Now, do you have your microphone on, the blue light
That
on?
might help. Can you folks hear me? Okay. Anyway, my name is Robert Stanley. I grew up in Mount Vernon and graduated from Mount Vernon High School in 1965. And originally, I'm a third-generation Stanwood person, which we call Stanley Wood. That's not the official name. But anyway, I've been probably the biggest thing I hear is your hospital did this, or your hospital did this wonderful thing, and it's not my hospital. I represent you folks, and I want to make sure that you folks have the best possible care that you can get locally. And you've had that for a long time. Our cancer center's been there since 1965. We just spent $14 million to make sure we had the best in radiation therapy, because we don't kind of do anything. We either do it or we do it as best as we can or don't. So I've been doing this for 24 years, and I'm not done yet. We're just getting started. We had a partnership with Peace Health for the hospital for 10 years, and it's worked out wonderful. So I appreciate your vote, and I want to continue to serve you as I have in the past.
Thank you. Now we'll move to the questions and answer portion of the forum. You have 1.5 minutes to answer each question. And the first question, we're going to begin with Jermaine Cornegay. How would you explain the role the elected board plays in its relationship with Peace Health as medical providers?
We partner. I would say they partner with Peace Health. When I attend the commission meetings, I do see that there is a representative there from Peace Health giving his input, and they do listen to each other. And so I think they do support each other. Also, Peace Health also provides some funding for the programs that United General provides. So that's a huge partnership, right, especially right now when we need the funding. So I would say that they listen to each other, but they really aren't not tied together as people think. One is clinical and one is community services.
Robert Stanley, same question. And if anybody needs me to repeat the question, just let me know.
Yeah, could you repeat the question, please?
How would you explain the role the elected board plays in its relationship with Peace Health as medical providers?
Well, we're involved in the decision-making for the district, which is for you people. And not only do we want you to have the best possible care, but we don't want you to fund all the bill. Right now, most of our services are funded by grants. And we barely get enough money from taxpayers to pay for the uncompensated care for people that can't afford it. So I want to continue to support our grant writers, who are some of the best, and they even help other organizations within the county. And also, I'm a healthcare person. I'm a pharmacist. I've been a pharmacist for 60 years, and I've done just about everything there is in pharmacy. I worked for Eli Lilly, which was a medical company, which was Eli Lilly the first, second, and third. And I've owned stores. I've worked for chains. And the best thing that has ever happened to us in the last 10 years is that we made a partnership with Peace Health for the clinical services, because it allowed us to have the best specialists that we can have. And we also got a tertiary hospital in Bellingham that's 500 beds. It's in the process of putting in 2 new trauma centers, 2 new towers, so everybody won't have to go to Harborview. So I want to continue to serve the public. I want to continue to support our staff, and they've done a wonderful job over the last 24 years.
Thank you. Ellen DeYoung, same question. Would you like me to repeat it? You good?
We're very lucky here in District 304 to have Peace Health. And as long as our agreement holds up, we are in marvelous shape. As you all read about people who are losing their insurance and losing their funding. The board's job is to make sure that Peace Health is doing what they promised for, that they're not over or underspending on our patients. But the bigger part of the board's job is to continue all those extra services. Peace Health so far has got it in the direct medical department. Those human services, some of which are very medical, diabetes care, WIC growth charts, have to be provided by the district. And that's what our job is as we leave Peace Health to do the direct medical care. I hope to be a good observer that Peace Health is doing what we think it should be doing, and a watcher of what's on the horizon for Peace Health. Are they going to continue to do this? Are they going to be bought out by another company which may not do this? And that's what I see my job as a commissioner going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next question. Please explain the taxation process in Hospital District number 304 and how those funds are budgeted, beginning with Robert Stanley.
Okay. Well, like I say, the taxes we collect are some of the lowest there is for healthcare. If you have like a $350,000, $400,000 home in our district, which has close to 100,000 people in it, that your taxes will be about $60 a year. I tell them that's about the same as 2 meals at Bonnie Joe's, which is good food. But, so we want to make sure that our funding through grants continues with our good people that do that and have done it for a long time. And we also have a wonderful relationship with Peace Health. They have the same mission statement we do. And when we went to them to get specialty support because we didn't have any specialists, and you can't operate a hospital with just family practice people, even though they do a great job. So they said, well, why don't you become one of our hospitals? We have the same mission statement. So we did. And so far, it's worked out great. And then we also do all these other services like Trek for Treasure and WIC and a lot of things for women and children. And we want to continue that as well.
Okay, thank you. Alan Young.
Well, I think the taxpayers' contribution fortunately has been kept to a minimum, and hopefully we can keep it that way because we don't want to have any large impact on taxpayer expense. But that's right, we need to work for grants. We need to see which services are working, being used by the community, effective medically. We have to be careful watchdogs so that what we have, which very much may decrease, will be spread to the right pies. So at this point, we're in good shape. Thanks to Bob and the commissioners. Taxes are low, they should stay low, and we should work for grants. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Jermaine Cornegay.
This is where I say new taxes. No, I actually, I do believe that we get a lot of bang for our buck, especially here in this district. And when you look at upriver, that's where our tax dollars has the biggest impact, is in areas like Concrete where they don't have the kind of services we have down here. And I think it's well worth it. Our taxes are low on the hospital district. I'd hate for us to get to a point where we need to be looking at a levy or anything like that. That would be, especially at a time like this when we already have 12% poverty rate here in Skagit County, which is pretty high. We don't need to tax even more. But our services like Trek for Treasure, from what I understand, is one of those programs that pays for itself. We pay $90. This is my 4th year doing Trek for Treasure, and it's a great program, and it pays for itself. And we have a lot of other programs that pay for themselves. And I think that's one thing that kind of keeps our taxes low for the hospital district. I'd like to see that continue. Thank you.
Okay, on to question number 3. What is a current issue that Hospital District 304 is facing, and what are your thoughts on the issue? Beginning with Alan Young.
I have 2 that are equally important. First is funding, and we've talked all about that. Medicare funding is going to change, and so the 50 cents that we now get may become 10 cents. And we have, although it's not a major component of the budget, it's something that we really have to be aware of and watch for. The second thing is community preparedness. We were all caught short by COVID. We rely on an action plan that it encompasses entire Skagit County, not the local community. And maybe we need to take a good look at what we're doing, where we're going. Does it work for Sedro-Woolley and Concrete? Do we expect people to do the things that they are able to do? And making it a community effort, not a political effort. So I'd say funding and community engagement in a pandemic or an emergency.
Okay, Jermaine Cornegay, same question.
Thank you. I also have 2 different. One is, so Medicaid cuts is a huge one. I've asked many times about that as a concern because it's on everyone's minds. And I just keep getting told that things are fine, but things are usually fine until they're not. I'd like to see us have a bigger rainy day fund. I'm not sure what the rainy day fund is right now, but I'd love to see that grow and have a plan to have that grow for a rainy day fund, for a rainy day. The other thing is navigating the systems between the Peace Health and United General. Where do people go when they're having an issue with this? Do they understand that like there's one way to handle one issue and one way to handle another? If you're having issues with the hospital, do you understand your path to take care of that issue? Or do you go to United General when you should be going to Peace Health? Those kind of things. I feel like working with the commissioners to have a better system in place so that people understand the differences in the two systems that are working together. That would be one thing I'd work on. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Robert Stanley, same question?
Yes, thank you. We have a wonderful relationship with Peace Health. They asked us to be one of their pharmacists, one of their hospitals, and we are one of their best hospitals as far as outcomes. We're licensed to be 129 beds. We do 29 beds because we have a tertiary hospital with 500 beds that's been there 100 years, 30 minutes away they can actually get to. To refer south is like referring somebody to the only free parking, which is I-5. And so we want to make sure we have funding to continue the good services that we provide. And we also want to provide services that we're good at. So that's the main thing that I'm involved with and committed to. Also, the insurance companies aren't doing their share. They don't fund mental health at all. So there's no place for these people to get treated. So they're either on the street or they have to go to jail to get food and a dry place to sleep, or they have to go to an emergency room. But anyway, so funding and the services we provide, I want to make sure they're the best they can be or we're not going to do them. And that's the way it's been forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to question number 4. What are your qualifications that make you the optimal candidate for a hospital District 304? And we're going to begin with Jermaine Cornegay.
So first of all, my life has been exactly this kind of thing that we would do as commissioners. As a single mom, raising my daughter in poverty, I understand Skagitonians. I moved here 30 years ago as a Navy wife, became a single mom, and lived this. I used that experience to put myself through school, start my own small business locally, and ever since, I've been just paying it back here, right here. And I've been, for 30 years, I've had my hands in every pot, probably too many. And I enjoy doing it, and I love serving, and I would love to pay back. And I would say that that's a lot of my experience, and running a small business, especially right now, is not easy. Budgeting over a pandemic, budgeting over financial stress, it's not easy, but you learn how to make do. And community services, I know people here, I know the people, I hear the stories. My business is one-on-one with every client. I get maybe 10 or 15 clients a day, and I listen to their stories. Those are your stories. Thanks.
Thank you. Robert Stanley.
Yes, thank you. 2 ears, 1 mouth. I try to listen to all of our constituents because their needs are real. And so we have influence with Peace Health, whether we're not separate. In fact, as long as Peace Health does well, all of the tax dollars that we get go to the district. So we're very much concerned in doing business with them. They also, insurance companies wouldn't even talk to us before as 29-bed hospitals stand alone. So they've been really good to partner with for 10 years, and the hospital's doing well. And then all the programs that we do, because the district is healthy, and as far as, we're not a poor district. We don't have any debt. We have millions of dollars in reserve, and that's from good management. We have a lot of long-term employees, and that's because we have good management. And so I want to make sure that continues to continue, and it's done through the fact that we have good leadership that care about the people that work there. And they don't just hire people who want the job, they hire people that are passionate about their job. And you'll see that all the way through the hospital and the district. So thank you.
Thank you. Ellen DeYoung, the same question.
I have 37 years of sitting one-on-one or one-on-family, listening to what the emotional, psychological, and medical needs are. I have referred to all of these programs. I have 8 children, 3 births and 5 internationally adopted. I personally have used many of these programs. I understand funding, who's paying and who's not. I understand places to get somebody in by the side way. I understand the system. I also have owned a practice of 5 providers and a 9-bed bed and breakfast. I was the managing partner at the practice and the manager and the mom at the bed and breakfast. I know fiscal responsibility. I know how to make ends meet. I know how to get more funding before we need it, not on the day that we need it. I have the most medical experience. I have the most life experience using these programs. I feel it's a gift that I can give to the community.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the closing statements now. Each of you will have a minute and a half for your closing statement, and we'll begin with Robert Stanley.
Thank you. Well, I have experience. I'm a healthcare person myself and have been. I don't come from a wealthy family. My mother was, you won't believe this, but was the 23rd of 24 children, all fathered by Patrick O'Connell in Kilkee, Ireland. And so I know what poor is. Also, our CEO is a pharmacist, and some of our people on the board for the hospital are pharmacists. And in general, they're caring people. And I've been fortunate to be in this position, to be appointed to start with, and then to be elected for this will be my 5th 6-year term. And anyway, it's been an honor to serve, and I'm not done yet. Peace Health is just growing. Like I said, we're going to have a trauma center in Bellingham with 2 new towers that you're not going to have to go to Harborview for everything. So I want to continue that. It's been a good run in the past, and I want to continue to represent the people of this community. I've also was a pharmacist for the Hagen family as well. Not only was I a long-time employee of the Eli Lilly family, but also the Hagen family.
Thank
So,
you.
you're welcome.
Ellen DeYoung, your turn.
Well, thanks to the League once again, and thanks to everybody out there who came to learn tonight. It means a lot for me to see all these people came to learn about what the hospital district does, because I didn't know completely until I decided to run. I hope that you can see that I'm much more than the doctor. I'm the mother, I'm the community member, I bring compassion, I bring community focus, and the understanding of healthcare in the community and how it works, and sometimes doesn't. District 304 is a lifeline for thousands of residents, and those are our neighbors. I want to make sure that they have stable access to care and we continue to bring them the services we are now. I'd be honored to earn your vote as commissioner.
Thank you. Jermaine Cornegay.
Thank you for your time tonight. Remember this, Hospital District 304 does not run clinical services. Peace Health does. Peace Health is also wonderful. Your hospital commissioners oversee human services, 50 community programs that support youth, family, and seniors. I've been doing this work my whole life. I came to Skagit, like I said, as a young Navy wife. And these programs is exactly what I needed when I became a single parent. I earned my human services degree from Western Washington University. And when I started my business 30 years ago, I had no idea I'd be here today. And I served 2 elected offices. City council, I've sat right here before 2 terms, and as a PUD commissioner. I show up to meetings, I show up to the classes. I've attended district meetings, volunteered with Skagit Trail Builders, joined Trek for Treasure for my 4th time this year, and worked alongside the people these programs serve. Families are stretched thin. Skagitonians are living in poverty at 12%. I'm not wealthy. I understand struggle, and I know how much these programs matter. Please visit unitedgeneral.org and peacehealth.org and see the difference. Then vote for the candidate who actually knows this role. I'd be honored to serve you as your hospital commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, candidates, for Hospital District 304 Commissioner Position 5. That's a mouthful. So let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are dismissed, and then we will call forward the City Council Ward 6 candidates. Please.
Chris, where did you want us? Woody, can you hear me?
Am I on? We will now move to the candidates for Sedro-Woolley City Council Ward 6, Kent Mockabee, Carl DeYoung, and Joe Burns. Opening statements, you'll have 1.5 minutes for your opening statement, beginning with Joe Burns.
Thank you. As a current council member for Ward 6, I'm proud of what we've accomplished together over the past 3.5 years. During my time on the council, we've been fiscally responsible, approving a balanced budget each year, and managing our reserve funds wisely. I voted to create the Police K-9 program, supported staffing needs of both police and fire department, and served as chair of the Public Safety Committee last year. I supported the renovation of Memorial Park, replacing the aging playground, and adding picnic shelters, a new restroom, and a splash pad for kids to enjoy on hot days like today. We secured funding in partnership with other government leaders to break ground on Olmsted Park this year. When completed, it will feature walking trails connected to Northern State, an ADA accessible fishing dock, picnic shelters, and more. Phase 2 will bring playgrounds and additional play areas. I'm the only sitting council member who has traveled to Olympia to lobby on your behalf, taking time off from my day job to advocate for funding and laws that benefit our community. As chairman of the Business Development Committee, I helped organize roundtable discussions with business owners and other organizations to better understand how we can strengthen our economy. One result was a business development grant program using federal funds to help local businesses improve their storefronts. It worked out. Our community is looking better, and other businesses are following their lead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carl DeYoung, opening statement.
Good evening. I'm Carl DeYoung. And first, I'd like to thank the Skagit League of Women Voters for putting on this forum. Your volunteer work strengthens our local democracy. And thank you to everyone here. I know what it means to have time away from your families, and it says a lot about you that you're here to learn and be part of this process. So I'm a proud homeowner right here in Ward 6. My wife, who you met earlier, and I have built a life here with our blended family of 8 children, 5 that were adopted internationally. And I am a partner in their lives, supporting them in every step as they move into adulthood. That's me. And that's what has taught me patience, accountability, and how to show up when things matter most. I served on this council from 2018 to 2022, and I hadn't planned on running again, but the neighbors came to me and they were frustrated with the lack of progress on basics like safe streets, strong infrastructure, and balanced growth. I felt I just couldn't sit on the sidelines anymore. So I'm not here to score points or push a party platform. I'm here to talk across differences, focus on results, and deliver on real service, not politics, for Ward 6 and for Sedro-Woolley.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the question and answer portion. You have 1.5 minutes to answer each question. Question number 1, what do you see as the primary responsibilities of a city council member, beginning with Carl DeYoung?
Representing is the primary responsibility of a council member. Accessibility to your neighbors. You have to be where the people are at, and sometimes you take on sticky issues, and you have to show compassion to those that are bringing that up to you because they care not only about their own family, but they care about this neighborhood and the quality of life that we're all here to enjoy. The number one thing that a council member must do is listen and represent the values of their constituencies, not their personal. Thank you.
Joe Burns.
I think Mr. DeYoung made some good points there. You know, it's really important that we hear out our neighbors, that we have discussions with people, not just that we agree with, but people we don't agree with, so that we can talk about what's going on in our community, what options we have to move forward, and do a better job to change things in a positive way that reflects our shared values. Giving as much opportunity as possible to local businesses to thrive, giving people a safe place to have fun with their families, going out and playing in parks, going for walks. You know, these are the things that I believe are important for council members. I try to make sure that I am responsive to any resident who contacts me, making sure I give them good, solid information in response to any questions that they have. I believe it's deeply important that we do our absolute best to provide people with solid, factual information when they ask a question or when they have an issue. I've pursued public policies that regard safety and other issues for our town because that is what I've been approached about by our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to question 2. What specific skills and experience do you bring to this role, and what have you done to prepare yourself for being a city council member, beginning with Joe Burns?
Thank you for the question. Well, I've been on the council for 3.5 years. I read each packet, top to bottom. I ask questions of the city staff, the people who wrote out these packets, so that I understand exactly what we're voting on, what we're considering, what's coming before us each night that we are up here. I'll talk with constituents in my area about issues that I know they are concerned about as they come up, most especially, so that I can make sure that I am getting a well-rounded view of what's going on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Carl DeYoung.
Mind repeating the question again?
Sure. What specific skills and experience do you bring to this role, and what have you done to prepare yourself for being a city council member?
Well, I've had the role before, so there's experience there. So the preparation with learning curve is flat. It comes down to community service, and this is an extension of community service in my view, that you must listen to your neighbors and represent their values here behind the dais. And we shouldn't have this barrier between us. We should be having a cup of coffee, a round table, and talking one-on-one and getting to know each other personally and see why this place matters to us so much and why we decided to raise a family here. Those are the skill sets I can bring in with our diverse family of eight children. We have 2 from Romania and 3 from Ethiopia, and that brings diversity into a sharper focus for us. And I think we need to bring that compassion and that patience right here to the council so we can be open, we can have a safe space for you to come and talk to us, or you can reach out and know that we're going to listen. As Robert said, I was trained the same way. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And we're here to listen and bring up your issues before the rest of the council in order to make a policy that works best for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Considering the tight financial situation in Sedro-Woolley, what are your top 2 budget priorities, beginning with Carl DeYoung?
Top budget priority is fully funding our public safety and our public works department, making sure that we can get into the pipeline more police officers that I know I worked really hard on that levy lift that we took to the voters. We voted to make sure it went to the voters and worked really hard to get that passed, and also spent my time down in Olympia discussing with representatives and senators around the state about why we needed to have more basic law enforcement academies around the state instead of 1, so the pipeline wasn't as narrow to get our recruits onto the street. And I really appreciated the information we got directly from the police department on that. Next is the fire department, where it's life-saving measures, basic life support, advanced life support, the training that must continue with that, the professionalism that they bring in every interaction in Sedro-Woolley, and also when they're called out as backup. And that's how we work in this community, right? We back each other up. We take care of neighbors taking care of neighbors. So those are the things I would like to see us continue to fully fund, and we also need more non-screen family time areas, like with a Skagit River loop trail that goes down to the river and up to the Central Business District, so families can enjoy our quality of life here. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe Byrne, same question? Absolutely. Considering the tight financial situation in Sedro-Woolley, what are your top 2 budget priorities?
Thank you for that. Sorry, everyone. I worked outside in the heat all day, so I'm still a little warm. My top priority, public safety. I want a safe place for our families to live, work, and play. I want to make sure that we have a fully staffed police department so that we can actually provide an SRO for the police, or for the schools that we have promised them. And I want to make sure that our fire department has the equipment that they need. I went out and I fought for the levee lid lift to ensure that they got 8 more firefighters, because as we lost people who were volunteering, as that pool dwindled, we need to make sure that we got full-time firefighters in there who are going to be capable of doing the job, who had the time to do it, and were able to commit to that full-time position. That made sure that when you call 911, you're having a heart attack, you're having a medical emergency, your house is on fire, someone actually is able to show up in a timely manner. That is deeply important to me. I want to make sure that we are all as safe as possible. The other concern I have is infrastructure. When we look at our roads, we have increasing businesses and houses upriver that are flowing through town. Let's face it, people are moving here. It's a beautiful place to live. No matter if they're in the city or in the surrounding areas, the traffic is still flowing through here, and we have to have long-term plans that are solid in order to deal with that. And so I've been looking at the John Liner corridor and other ways that we can route traffic through town in a way that's productive for businesses, but also helps make sure that we have flow.
Thank you. Question number 4. What actions should the city take to accommodate expected future growth, beginning with Joe Burns?
I guess I just touched on that a little bit, but making sure that as we look at the city, if you look at the map, that there is a way for traffic to not just flow through the dead center of town, but through the outsides of it, multiple corridors for people to get in and out. Working with county commissioners and state government to try to get them to expand Highway 20 and Cook Road so that we don't all get stuck in a bottleneck as we come and go from town. Making sure that we are drawing in businesses that are going to help get people to shop here, because realistically, cities get funding from 2 different sources. You get revenue from sales tax or property tax, and I'd personally prefer it be from sales tax because you're able to just drive down the street and get whatever you need. I don't want you to feel like you have to drive to Burlington or order something online. I want you to be able to walk into a local store and actually purchase that item. Then your tax dollars stay here, they benefit the community that you live in, and it gives us more opportunity to provide a better future for everybody who's here. Thank you.
Carl DeYoung, same question.
Mind repeating it?
Absolutely. What action should the city take to accommodate expected future growth?
Right. So our city is growing, but job opportunities haven't kept pace. And too many families have to drive long distances just to make a living. And that puts stress on families, our infrastructure, our roads, and our city services. So let's streamline permitting for small businesses. Let's invest in that infrastructure that supports good local jobs and partner with working development programs so we can develop our workforce, all while making sure we protect the small town character that makes Sedro-Woolley Sedro-Woolley. Balanced growth is just not a phrase, it's a responsibility. And it's interesting that we bring up the John Liner Jones Road, because that was an effort, as I see our mayors in the background, of going down to Olympia, and we lobbied hard with the Senate and the House Transportation Committee to get state funds in order to help us get that bypass. And through the hard work of our Public Works Director, we did a lot of informal meetings, working relationships, and it was a great group effort. And also, Chris, the 40th was very interested in it too, because that affects part of that district as well. And so what we might think might be a local issue is a regional issue, is a state issue, and you must be able to talk to folks in those situations. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move on to closing statements. A minute and a half for your closing statement, beginning with Carl DeYoung.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Skagit League of Women Voters. I appreciate your volunteerism. And again, thank you everyone here tonight. Sedro-Woolley is my home. My wife and I raised our blended family of 8 here, and that experience has taught me patience, compassion, accountability, and a steady hand. I've served on this council before, and I know how to work across differences. And what matters most, of course, is our safe neighborhoods, our strong infrastructure, balanced growth that protects our small town character. I'm not here for politics. I'm here to provide real service not politics. I'd be honored to earn your vote. Thank you very much.
Joe Burns for closing statement.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters and all of you for coming here tonight. My wife and I have 2 boys we're raising right here in Woolley. For the past 9 years, I've worked as the automotive shop foreman for Doyle Guffey's Rally Auto Sales. And this fall, I'll be starting a new chapter as a high school auto shop teacher. I've supported our first responders, and I'm honored to be endorsed by former Police Chief Lynn Tucker. I've stood for fiscal responsible governance, and I'm proud to be endorsed by Councilmember Paul Koch and Mayor Julia Johnson. I've worked with anyone and everyone who wants to make Sedro-Woolley a better place to live, work, and play. And because of that approach, I've earned support from both sides of the aisle. I'm grateful to be endorsed by former County Commissioner Ted Anderson and current County Commissioner Lisa Janicki. To my knowledge, I'm the only council member and candidate who has completed over 60 hours of training to earn the Advanced Certificate of Municipal Leadership from the Association of Washington Cities. That training has given me strong understanding of how cities function, how we interact with county and state governments, and how we can tap into programs that help our community thrive. My wife and I volunteer regularly with the Sedro-Woolley Lions Club. I serve as the Log Rodeo Grand Parade foreman, volunteer with my church, and chair the board of Helping Hands Food Bank. I'm just a regular guy who shows up, works hard, and puts our community first. I hope you'll choose to support my reelection, and thank you everyone for your time. I appreciate you coming here.
Thank you, candidates, for City of Sedro-Woolley Council Ward 6, and let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. You guys are dismissed. And we'll now move to the candidates for Sedro-Woolley School Board District 1. The candidates for Sedro-Woolley School Board District 1 are Joe Callio, Brent Scheffelbein, and Cindy Weidman. Okay, we're going to take a 10-minute break and see if we have other candidates. We're running way ahead of schedule. You guys are fast talkers. So if you guys want to stand up and stretch, we'll see what happens. And otherwise, we have Jim Callio. Okay, okay, everybody, if you'd have your seat. If everyone would please have your seats, we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, everybody. Let's come to some semblance of order. All right, we are going to move on to the candidates for Sedro-Woolley School Board District 1, Joe Callio, Brent Shufflebean, and Cindy Weidman. Opening statements are a minute and a half, and no, when the light turns blue, it's on.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
So a minute and a half for an opening statement.
Okay, my name's Jim Callio. I'm a Sedro-Woolley alumni. My wife and I both graduated here. We had 4 kids. All 4 went to school here, K through 12. And I've had 5 grandkids in the district, one of which just graduated. So next year I'll have 4 left from the 2nd grade to the 9th grade. And I previously served on the board from 1997 to 2017 when I retired from the board. And everything was going along good until the last couple of years, and we started getting a outside interest pushing in here, and all of a sudden the focus went from the classroom to outside issues. And I started thinking about it, and when the stuff that happened this late winter and early fall where the superintendent was forced to resign, and they basically wasted close to $500,000. That's when I decided I had to step back in and try and get back on the board and bring some stuff back. That was all brought about by the divisiveness of the board that was caused from these outside interests. And we need to get rid of that divisiveness, get back on the same page, and get everybody focused on getting all the focus back in the classroom.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the question and answer. First question, what is your understanding of the school board's roles, powers, and duties?
School boards were set up to give local oversight to your community. And basically, you're the liaison between the community and the school district. And your role is to provide guidance and direction to the superintendent, who is the only person that really works for the school board. All the rest of the people in the district work for the superintendent. But that's the role of a school board, and it's your role to stay up there in that role and not get down into the everyday operations. So you have overall approval of personnel and the budgets and all that stuff, but the best thing you can do is make sure that you hire a good superintendent and they hire good administrators, and then everything will work the way it's supposed to. But if you start getting down where you're not supposed to be and dealing with things you're not supposed to deal with, then it just gets, you just muddy the waters and it just makes a mess. And I'm afraid that may be where we're at now, so. Okay.
Thank you. What is your vision for education in the district, and how does it support the local economy and quality of life in the community?
Well, my vision for this district is what it was when I was on the board before. We have to provide a well-rounded education that provides kids when they're coming out of the high school, that no matter what track they're on, whether they're going to go on to college, they're going straight into the workforce, or if they're going to go into some type of a trade or an apprentice, that we have provided them with the background for that. And so our curriculum has to be varied, and it can't be forced on them. Not every kid's going to go to college, and so we have to provide that. And that's one of the things I'm the most proud of from my time before, was the fact that we do have that. We have probably the best CTE, which old people like me called vocational, of any district in the county. And as far as I know, the plans are not to cut any of that back and maybe expand it. So, and as far as the academics go, we have a wide range of AP classes, college and the high school. Running Start is part of it. So kids that go to college from here, if you want to do it, you will be as well prepared as any student going to a college from anywhere in the state.
Thank you. Okay, Jim Callio. If you had a magic wand, what particular need would you fulfill for your district?
Probably not to have to beg for money all the time. I'm sorry, but school funding formulas they're very difficult. I mean, I'll give the state a little bit of leeway there because you're dealing with schools from, towns like Seattle to somebody like Concrete or Darrington or something, and so the funding formulas don't work right. But it's a constant struggle to get enough funding to keep programs running the way you are. And I know before when I was on the board, we were constantly looking for somewhere to make cuts because a raise would be passed through by the state, but we would have more employees than what they're paying for. So all those employees get the raise, but we're not getting the funding back for it. So it just creates a budget deficit every year. And so that would be my magic wand, is just to help the funding a little better.
Okay, next question. Budgets are tight. What are your top 2 priorities for the district and why?
Well, the top priority is just to keep the general fund budget in balance. It's been going backwards for the last 4 or 5 years, and the fund balance has dropped each year. And so my goal will be to get it turned around so that we're not running in a deficit every year and get it back to where we can start building the fund balance to a good thing. The second would be to try and come up with some money to keep up with the repairs, maintenance, and projects that our facilities need. Because if we don't have good facilities, the kids don't have a good learning environment. And if we let the damages go too long before they get repaired, they just exponentially get bigger, and the costs get bigger. Just exponentially, something that was going to cost $100,000 now, if the rot keeps going in something or whatever, the roof keeps leaking, then that $100,000 job pretty soon is a $500,000 job. So you have to keep up with that stuff. So those 2 things, it's just a general fund and then keeping up with facilities.
Okay, next question. What are your qualifications that make you the optimal candidate for District 1 school board member?
Well, experience. I served 20 years before, and I was elected at a time kind of like we're in now. The superintendent had just been terminated, and the community was up in arms, and there was a lack of trust. And I was hired and helped bring us out of that, or I was elected. And the other thing, I served the last 13 years on the board. I was the board president, elected by my fellow board members, so they must have had a little bit of confidence in me. But during that time, I led the search for 2 different, what turned out to be very good superintendents. So I've been through that, and we're going to have to go through that now. And that is the biggest decision a school board member can make, is who you hire as the superintendent. And in a district this size, it can't be just somebody that has a bunch of letters behind their name and can talk a good game. They have to be able to push our district forward, student achievement forward, but they also have to fit the community. If they don't fit your community, doesn't matter how good they are. You're not going to get the support of the community. And the last 3 superintendents we've had in this district, the community welcomed them, and they did their job. They were a good fit, so.
Thank you. We're going to move on to closing statements. Jim Callio, you have 1.5 minutes for a closing statement.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for holding these. It's unfortunate that my opponents didn't show up, but I just want to stress both my experience and my dedication to the community and the district. I want nothing better than Sedro-Woolley School District to be the best district in the county, the best district in the state, and every kid that comes through here gets the best opportunity so that no matter what direction they're going to succeed. And the divisiveness that's come up over the last 2 years with these outside agendas has got to stop. It just has to stop. We have to get back, as I said in my opening, school boards were developed nonpartisan to provide a local oversight for your schools. And we have to get back to that. And if there's one thing that anybody in here knows, I represent our people and our values, and that's all. And I don't kowtow to anybody. I'm not partisan. And so I live for the kids and I live for the district.
Okay, thank you. Candidates for Sedro-Woolley District 1. And if you just keep your seats for a minute, Don Wick has a closing statement.
Thank you. I'd like to close the forum by thanking all of the candidates. Let's hear it again for the candidates. Yes. And to the voters, please remember to vote on or before August 5th, either by returning your ballot by mail or in a ballot drop box. And all are welcome to become members, all of you. The League of Women Voters, there's membership forms on the red table over there. Please pick those up before you leave. And how many brought your checkbooks here this evening? Just kidding. Please be a voter, don't forget. And thank you to the League of Women Voters, Skagit County President Jane Vilders, timekeepers Wendy Sanderson and Amy Erie. Thank you so very much. Let's hear it for moderator Chris Litton. Yes, great job, great job. And thanks to all of the elected officials that are here that aren't running this year that have visited. We have County Commissioner, yes, Mr. Ron Wiesen. We have Mayor Julia Johnson back there, and her son is there too. So thank you all very much. Thank you, and don't forget, join the League of Women Voters. All right, Chris.
Thank you, everybody. Jim, you're dismissed. I should have told you that.